Hi everybody, I'm so pleased that you're having this workshop for the critically endangered western ground parrot. As you know, it's one of the 20 targeted birds for recovery by 2020 in the Australian Government's Threatened Species Strategy. It's declined by over 80% over the last 30 years, and it had a real hammering from the recent fires in Western Australia, which affected over 90% of its habitat. When I think about the western ground parrot, it reminds me of the science for Australia's mammals, and indeed anything that's small to medium size and spends time on the ground. The key threats in order of severity are feral cats, foxes, fire, habitat degradation and climate change. And clearly for the western ground parrot, all of these things are a significant issue. I'd like to acknowledge the tremendous work of the Friends of the Western Ground Parrot, and wherever I go around Australia, when I know there's a strong Friends of group, I'm more confident that we can recover that species. And people like Dave and Anne, who I've been out in the field with, give me a strong sense of confidence and optimism that we can save this remarkable bird from extinction. I'd also like to acknowledge the Western Ground Parrot recovery team and the hard-working, dedicated people like Sarah Comer, Manda Page, Alan Burbridge and Fran Stanley, and also their managers in Perth, Margaret Byrne, and thank her for being a champion. You're all heroes in the fight against extinction. So what's needed to recover the western ground parrot? Well, first and foremost, we need an emergency intervention to recover it from the perilous state that it's in at the moment. Second, we need to ensure that the western ground parrot has a viable captive breeding population, and I'm so proud of Perth Zoo and the effort that it's making to help make that a reality. Third, we need increased knowledge of its distribution, and fourth, we need more parrots in more places on the ground. That's what the end game is really about, growing the population of the western ground parrot and having more parrots in more locations to make it safe again from fire, foxes, feral cats and these pressures that are driving it to extinction. The Australian Government's already contributed $1.75 million to roll out the Eradicat bait, and I've seen that work firsthand thanks to Sarah and the team. I've also seen the additional trapping activities to trap feral cats. The Australian Government's also intervened to provide an emergency licence through the APVMA for the baiting that was required immediately after the fires, and we've also put $40,000 into the high-tech CCTV equipment to allow Perth Zoo to understand how to breed these cryptic parrots effectively in captivity. And that's not easy, and I really do congratulate Perth Zoo for its dedication on that front. We've all got a role to play in the fight against extinction, and in this workshop I'd like to invite you to consider what the Australian Government can do through programs like the Green Army, but also what other players can also bring to the table to save this remarkable bird. The western ground parrot, as all of you know, is one of the rarest birds in the world. It's one of 65 Australian birds that are rarer in the wild than China's giant panda. Most Australians know who the Kardashians are, but they don't know that we have 65 birds in Australia that are more at risk of extinction than China's giant panda. And I can tell you that before I was appointed as the Commissioner, I didn't know we had 65 birds more at risk. So we've got to get a lot better. And often I say that the two biggest threats to Australia's wildlife are the Kardashians and Gollum. And if I can expand on that, the Kardashians have millions and millions of followers and are very effective at promoting awareness about what they do and who they are. And we need to get a lot better and more competitive at marketing our remarkable threatened species like the western ground parrot. So that's my first invitation to you, to think how you can promote awareness of this bird and greater empathy and support across Australia so that we can compete with the Kardashians for the attention of Australians. I mentioned Gollum as the second threat, And Gollum, if you remember from Lord of the Rings, was always focused on his precious. And one of the things that I've noticed in my time as the Commissioner is that many people are so passionate in this game, in this fight against extinction, that they can become a little bit focused on their idea, their precious. So I invite you today to be open-minded. Don't be too focused on your precious. Listen to everyone's idea and come up with the best, boldest, most ambitious plan to save this remarkable parrot. I look forward to hearing how you've gone, and I look forward to working with you together to save the western ground parrot from extinction. Thank you.